solution that is short term. Sometimes I ask, it's not just about the administration of APC, because if you ask me, APC and PDP are the same thing. They are the same. Look, they are the same thing. But I tend to ask, what has this government, or yes, let me hold on to this government first. What have they actually done about the list of terrorism financiers released by the UAE? Nothing. Every time they tell us, oh, we will do something, they condemn on social media, they come on air, we hear from Garubashu and the rest. Nothing at the end of the day. I told someone last week when this the 100 million ransom was paid. Immediately that happens, you see more spate of kidnappings of high-profile people, because these people are looking for ways to hold on to funds. But when we talk about these Fulani headsmen, do they know the community as much as the people? For pidgin, they talk say, na rat where they inside house, 90 rat where, or best where they outside, say fish they inside. I could remember that there was a time a journalist was kidnapped. I think sometime in sometime 2 months ago or so in Bayelsa or around that range, and he said that the people of the community kidnapped him and handed him over to these Fulani people. So we can't even say, oh, that it's Fulani headsmen. We still have some of our people working with them, unfortunately. Nowhere is safe in Nigeria. Nowhere, practically nowhere is safe. You can't even travel. I stay in Port Harcourt. I can't even travel from Port Harcourt to Delta. I can't even do that. So what are we doing? What are our community leaders doing? Because every time I ask, it's not just about the people. The community leaders, what are they doing? They need to stand up, but most of them are compromised. They've sold out. They are not bothered. They are only bothered about themselves. They have their families outside the country. They have their children somewhere. People are living in Ghana these days. People are leaving the country. How many of us can afford the trip? Do you know how much it is to want to leave? The easiest pathway would have been, oh, study outside the country. Go and ask how much is proof of funds for you to do that. So it's very painful what we're seeing these days. And I beg everyone, it's not just about talking on social media. I think at this point in time, we just need to sit down and ask ourselves, what is the solution? Let me tell you the truth. I don't even know any solution at the moment. I don't even have an idea of the slightest solution. The only solution I know is leave my house, come back, and I keep begging God, oh, my wife and my daughter, when they leave home, they should come back safely. I just believe that at this point in time as Nigerians, we need to work together. It's not about where you're from. It's not about the religion. This has affected every single one of us. And I'm grateful for giving me this opportunity to speak here. I hope we see a better Nigeria for ourselves and our...
Oh, well, good evening, guys.
Hi, please go ahead.
Okay, fine. First things first, it's a very, very sad incident that's happened in Ondo State. I might ruffle a little feathers. Some people might actually get offended. I don't mean to offend anyone on this space. Before now, 2 or 3 speakers, I noticed they are actually, northerners. And then whenever we try to bring up this issue that this current or this spate of attacks keeps happening by a particular group of tribe, these people come up and then they're like, oh, it's not all the northerners. It's one. They try to want to now limit it to just the Fulanese. No, it's not just the Fulanese. This is a northern problem. Now, I want to go back a few weeks ago when we had this issue of the blasphemy Deborah in Sokoto State. I have some friends. They were like, oh, fine. Even the article tweeted and deleted it. That's just to show you the mindset of these guys. They are always one way or the other behind themselves. For good, for bad, they're always like, oh, it's my brother. Whatever is done, I don't really care. But because they have that thing in common, that's one. Then following the killings in Anambra, nobody really spoke about that. Then the other one that just happened recently in Abuja, the blasphemy too. How long do we have to keep putting up with this particular tribe? For me, I'm going to say the solution right now is for all of us to stand up for our own tribe. Ibitatiwa, Ejeka Dide fun Bitatiwa. This thing is actually in Ondo State today. We don't know where next. Last year, 1 year ago today, was in Oyo State. This year in Ondo State. Who knows? Next week might be Ekiti State. For all you know, they might already be plotting something in Lagos. Now, for an attack of this scale to have happened, where is our intelligence community? You cannot tell me a group of people just woke up today, Sunday morning, and then went to that church. No. Planning must have gone on to this thing. At least minimum of a month would have gone into this thing. Planning. Where is our intelligence community? Where is our police? But no, everybody is corrupt. 10,000 naira, 1,000 naira, $1,000 corrupt everybody. I am going to still say something right now. How do these so-called Fulani headsmen, Hausa guys, how do they migrate from where they're from to our communities, to the Western communities, to the Eastern communities? How do they get there? Now, you find out it's very difficult for maybe Yoruba guys, Igbo guys to migrate like in large numbers, in huge numbers. You find it very difficult for them to migrate to Kaduna State, to Sokoto State, en masse. But we keep seeing them truckloads coming in every time. We have slept at it soon. We've been sleeping for too long. Somebody said, the journalist that just finished now said the short-term solution is actually violence. Trust me, man. Think Yoruba people used to say something. Think Obama da Oma Baje. If something is actually going to be good, it's going to get to the worst point. I think Nigeria is already at that point. All we just need is just like-minded people. We can actually defend ourselves. I'm not going to say the army is corrupt, the police is corrupt. We can actually stand up individually for ourselves. It's just really unfortunate, because currently I'm not even in Nigeria. I'm in Amsterdam. It's unfortunate whenever you just open your phone and then you just want to look at what's happening in Nigeria. You don't see anything good. Coming from Nigeria. It is either the train attacks in Kano, the Deborah issue, this issue, nothing. You're even ashamed to tell people you're Nigerian. Like, I am in pains. I am a Yoruba person. Trust me, the Northerners that have actually spoken on this place, a little bit biased, but I that's not my problem. You can actually be biased towards your own people. You can say, oh no, it's not them. But trust me, why do we keep having you people as the problem? Thank you very much.
nípa ọ̀rọ̀ pé social media ó tọ́ ni wọn ò gbọ́ social media bó ṣe ìwọ́de la máa ṣe láyé àtijọ́ tí nǹkan bá ń dàrú àwọn ọ̀dọ́ ń jáwé dání wọ́n lọ sójú di ọba.
And that's what.
wọ́n lọ síwájú ilé ọba wọ́n á pariwo àwọn nǹkan tó dùn mí tábánikà wo majority àwa tàwa lórí spain ẹ má jẹ nǹkan yìí ìdájí wa ò sí nàìjíríà bá ṣe ń sọ̀rọ̀ ọgbọ́n wo la fẹ́ dá sí bọ́ síbẹ̀síbẹ̀ tó bá ní bá ṣe lè encourage àwọn tó wà ń lé like you said wọn ò gbọ́ social media ìgbà tó bá fẹ́ ṣèpolongo nìkan náà ń lò wá. But I need to work what I'm saying. Bó ṣe ìwọ́de ni o, tá a bá ṣe ìwọ́de tá a ṣe ìwọ́de lóńdó. The ìwọ́de is not about Nigeria anymore. We are not talking about Nigeria. Sọ̀rọ̀ nípa Nigeria. Ilẹ̀ Yorùbá, báwo ni ṣe bá wa secure ilẹ̀ Yorùbá? Àwọn governors wa, bó ṣe ká assemble gbogbo wọn ká pè wọ́n jọ, kó wá sọ̀rọ̀. Ìgbésẹ̀ wo náà ń gbé?
told the pastor that he should order some of the members to go and get private gun, to go and have a licensed gun. Now, Alaafin sent his guards. They call his guards in Oyo town then Toba Lashe. Now, ejeka wo ohun tí wọ́n fi tag yẹn o, Toba Lashe, Toba Lashe. Aráàlú ò láṣẹ, aráàlú ò ní suggestion. He sent his people there to go and to go inside the church, to go and meet the pastor that why are you people having licensed gun? Now, the issue got to the state governor then. Now, they stopped those people from having gun. Nobody talk about it. See, sir, I love what you just said, though, but there's nothing we can do. Our leaders, they are already corrupted. Corruption and there's nothing we can do. These people, all this, okay, fine. We want to do rally. We want to talk to ourselves. We still have some of us that will go and betray us, that will go and collect money, that will go and betray us. What are we now saying?
Kayode, tá bá kwa sọ fún wèrè. Wèrè ó lọ sọgbó. Show me yen nzi mai. Tá bá ní pé wọ́n ti corrupt. La wá dákẹ́ la rí nǹkan ṣe sí. Tá bá sọ fún wèrè ó lọ sọgbó. I'm telling you, the fact that wọ́n ti corrupt yẹn gan, that is even one of the reasons that we need to address this issue.
So, Asiwaju, ẹ má bínú. Nǹkan tẹ́ ń sọ ń sìn ni wípé regardless of the decay, we should press forward.
We need to. We have to.
Oh, good evening, everyone. Maazi Ezeoke speaking to us this evening. Before I start, obviously, before now, you heard people discussing on the space the incident that has happened today. My heartfelt condolence goes out to the people of Owo for the, unspeakable act that happened today, where, in the words of the Catholic Church, the Catholic Church, because terminology matters here, the Catholic Church says unknown gunmen, obviously they are not known, that they came and this atrocity was committed today. If you also check, more than, I'll put it this way, as that has happened, you see that there are insinuations all over. Tensions are high. Everyone is accusing one another. But the question is, can we think deeper and think of why would this happen in this manner? Why would a church be attacked? Why would a church be attacked? The pictures are so gory. The pictures are so, I have the pictures here on the phone, but they, I can't even, honestly, we can't even show these pictures. You keep asking yourself, why did this happen? Who are those behind it? Now, if we look at who are those behind it, let's quickly look at the governor of that state, Akeredolu. The governor has accused and said that those behind these were foreigners from Mali, trained in Libya, that they were. Then I asked myself, Mr. Governor, if you are aware that these were people who came to your state and committed this dastardly act, Is it that your Amotekum didn't work, or is it that if you knew this, why wasn't, I don't know. I mean, I'm thinking of a lot of things at once because I'm really angry. I'm really angry because you look at the pictures, you see a young girl, a young woman, a child, her brain blown up. You see a pregnant woman. There is one beautiful woman, story has it that she had her wedding yesterday, being Saturday. They came to church today for Thanksgiving, and she has lost her life. Again, to all those over 50 fellow citizens who lost their lives in this senseless, when I say senseless, mean it by every word of imagination, every word of it, in the senseless massacre orchestrated to create tension and to create panic within the Nigerian space. But I then asked myself, if the governor is aware of those and that they were trained in Libya, what is he doing? What is the Amoteku doing to get this idiot, this bastard, to get them, whoever they are? What are you doing? Let me go through this. This is what the governor said, people. Foreigners, I hope you can see exactly. So this is what the governor said here. The governor said that foreigners from Mali trained in Libya behind the attack on Owo Catholic Church at Lodoro. Governor of Ondo State has said those carrying out the attacks at as the one on St. Francis Xavier Catholic Church in the state are foreigners from Mali trained in Libya. While describing the attack as vile, satanic, Aklodori promised to, that they will be apprehended very soon. Gunmen had on Sunday, today, blah, blah, blah. But there is something. If this, even the president himself, even the so-called president himself at one point agreed that these people are foreigners. Let's grant it. If we go back and listen to the video of the prelate of the Methodist Church, the video he granted to Arise and the interview he granted to Arise and the interview he granted to the BBC, Igbo and BBC Pidgin, he alluded to the fact that these people are foreigners. Then you ask yourself, how on earth would you have a sovereign nation, allegedly a sovereign nation, and people are coming in, killing your own citizens without outrage? I don't know if the president is still alive. If it's not part of what is happening, then the president must be living in a different planet. People invade your country. You don't know the crime. Think about it. Close your eye for 1 second. Close your eye for 1 second. Think about it. That Mexicans will come into America, kill Americans and go away. That Mexicans will drive into Canada and kill Canadians and go scot-free. There was a video that people started sharing of a police officer standing where it appeared this police officer, or rather the police officer tackled a man with a gun. Of course, many people have said that this happened in Norway. While that was a brave officer, and it appears that gun kind of either it got him in the waist or whatever, I don't know. But sadly, that was an incident that happened in Benin Republic, that is in Togo, on Thursday, the 3rd of is it Thursday or Friday? Oh, sorry, Friday, the 3rd of June, 2022. But you didn't ask me. I think it's time for people to begin to understand that there is something amiss. There was a Yoruba there was this Yoruba prophet who made a prophecy And his prophecy is that, I think, let me ask the sender to actually send me the prophecy again. You know, personally, I do not believe in all these prophecies, but if by the way and manner it was described to me today, that this prophecy is anything to go by, again, I have to be very careful, you know, here on the platform, not to sound as a warmonger, but according to the prophet, if this happens today, that what he sees in the spirit is that these may likely lead to war. I spoke again to another highly placed individual who was contesting the presidential election, but he withdrew, and he made some also revealing things about what may be coming before us as a people, as Nigerians. And I think every and any body of goodwill and conscience must condemn these dastardly, because this is indeed barbaric, satanic, and must be condemned by every single individual. Then you begin to question yourself. You begin to ask yourself, how does this happen that people will come from a different place and maim and kill your own people, maim, kill them, and walk away free, and nothing happens to them? Who does that? Where does it mean that the states, if the federal government is not able to give you technology to fight crime, does it mean that the state does also not have basic? Because listen, if after this incident, the whole road in the state, in Ondo State, is blocked, the whole road is you know, I don't know where it appears we are becoming cowards, because if the whole road is blocked, knowing that these are people that have killed people, or, you know, let's stop this. Huh? Let's stop this. But it appears the man is not interested. He's not interested. Honestly, if I read the statement by the Catholic Church, I've read where some of you are saying, why do we say that these people are unknown? Well, you know, in journalistic work, you need to always stick to facts and stick to what those who were there say. If the state governor says, or if the state government says unknown, the Catholic Church says unknown, who am I to pin it to anyone? I would toe the line of unknown until they are known. For now, but I wish that they can really cut this crap and make this bunch of loonies, because that's what they are. These are lunatics. For whatever reason, be it land grab, be it that they are doing it in order to, do whatever it is. Why should we actually bother ourselves by whatever reason they do whatever they do? Shouldn't what bothers us most, shouldn't it be that whoever is behind this madness must be apprehended and must be punished? That is what I believe should be the case. Now, let me quickly show us the letter from the Catholic Church. You can see that here, Catholic Diocese of Ondo, Directorate of Social Communications, and it reads today, the 5th of June, 2022, to the public. Attack on St. Francis Catholic Church, or Ondo State, Nigeria. It is Pentecost Sunday, when every Catholic is expected to be in church to commemorate the solemnity It is so sad to say that while the Holy Mass was going on, unknown gunmen. Now, highlight this. So, for those of you who say that, because if the Catholic Church and if the government is saying unknown gunmen, people, you and I can suspect all what we want, but it is against the ethics of journalism without further investigation to pin it down without necessarily towing the line of those that release statements. And here he says that unknown gunmen attacked St. Francis Catholic Church, or Ondo State, leaving many feared dead and many others injured, and the church violated. The identity of the perpetrators remain unknown again, while the situation has left the community devastated. However, for now, security agencies have been deployed to the community to relatively handle the situation at this point in the history of our country, Nigeria. We need God's ultimate intervention to restore peace and tranquility. Catholic Church, I think beyond God, I think we need common sense to restore peace and tranquility. We need to start punishing. If, according to the governor of that state, that these men came from outside the state, if these men came from outside the state, then it behoves on us to say that this is entirely madness. If these men came from outside the state, how come they will leave the state? If they were trained in Mali, for what purpose? DSS, where are you? Nigerian army that only has power to deal with private citizens, we see what they do, and even in Ezeoke, the prelate of Methodist Church is accusing them of colluding. Colluding. These are not my words. These are the words of the prelate saying that they collude. T.Y. Danjuma has said it, that they collude. Where are those trained and armed to protect the territorial integrity, if there is anything like that to be protected? Where are those, in plain English, those who ought to protect the territorial integrity? Where are those? I think I have a guest. I have a guest here. Hold on, people. Let me confirm that my guest is here. Hold on, people. Let me confirm that my guest is here. I have a guest already joining me in the studio. Let me confirm that that's my guest. Please bear with me for 1 second. I want you to join me and let's have this discussion. Actually, I have a guest here, but please, before I'll let you in to join me, you must have your camera on. Pardon me, if you do not have your camera on, I cannot allow you to join me. Please, with all due respect. Thank you. So I think the guest is left. In this time and age, if you want to join to have this conversation, I must and you must have your face shown. Now ask yourself, those committing this crime, killing fellow citizens, to what end? Can we plot the graph? What would be the incentive from someone to go for training in according to the governor, being trained in Mali, move from Mali, come to Nigeria, commit this crime, run away? To what end? Think about it. To what end? Who paid for those training? Why was the individual trained? For what purpose was the individual trained to come and do that? Some have argued that it is a case of land grab, which the prelate, over a couple of days alluded to, that there is an orchestrated plan for land to be grabbed. Could that be the case? I'm not saying that that is the case, but again, we must not leave any stone unturned. We must ask questions. We must begin to think critically. What could be behind it? Because the manner and the speed with which these things happen and the level of helplessness, how would these people have left by train? Would these people have left by car? Would they have left by foot? Would they have left by keke or motorcycle? How? I mean, the more I think about it, the more I think there is something absolutely not adding up here, people. There is something not making sense. Why? Is it that you create panic? Let me get Aminu here. I have Mohammed Aminu joining me. Mohammed Aminu, you're welcome once more to Njenje Media TV.
Thank you, Mr. Maazi. I am happy to be here once more again about the current happening in our dear reverend country, Nigeria. This particular heinous and heartless attack by some, terrorists, so to say, is very, very unfortunate to happen at this point in time that we are faced with so many security challenges in Nigeria at large. Before joining the live stream, I was going by through the comment section of the program, which I saw some people are already trying to give it an ethnic background, so to say, and which have already maybe reply someone among them, telling him that please, since he knows who did this particular heinous act, he should provide us with the evidence so that it will ease in the investigation, because sometimes it baffles me when an attack is being carried on or an act or is being carried on in any particular part of the country. We are too fast to say it's a particular tribe, and which is that is not the right way to do. There are some things that you don't just come out and say, this is this. You have to investigate. Please and please, those of us that are in social media today, because social media is one of the, what you call it, war zone, so to say, that ignites crisis in society right now in this our society, because there are so many lies and propaganda in social media. But the question we ought to be asking now, not to play politics with what happened. I'm coming. The question we ought to be asking here, if it happens, conditional statement, that Fulanis are the one, as they claim, that did this attack, what will Fulani benefit with this attack? This is the question we have to ask ourselves. Because it pains me very much in my heart that every kind of attack in Nigeria, everyone will just open his mouth because it's too easy to say it's Fulani. I don't understand.
No.
Everything that happened in the south is Fulani. Why would
stop.
behave like this?
Yeah. Now hold on. The Catholic Church said that those who attacked the church are unknown gunmen. I think first and foremost.
You said, come again, please.
No.
You said the Catholic Church said what?
The Catholic Church said that those who attacked the church are unknown gunmen. No one knows their identity because obviously they struck and they left.
Okay.
Now, why don't you bother yourself with the official statement as opposed to what your fellow citizens are saying? Now, if those...
No, you don't understand. Sometimes you don't understand. Sometimes
you are reacting based on comment. No, you are reacting based on comment. Now, if in the stream you have people that would, by tomorrow, because by tomorrow we'll have victims who are survivors.
Thank you.
Who survived this attack. who probably overheard them when they were speaking to one another, we would begin to hear, just like when Kanu bomb blast happened. When victims, and on this platform, I was telling people, when victims say this is what we saw, the state does not have any right to begin to tell people, oh no, it was a gas explosion, and which eventually the state came to the conclusion. And
your network is shaking.
My network is shaking.
I'm missing some words you're saying.
I don't know if my network, I think my internet is
you see, that is why I told you, we Nigeria sometimes we are better. My network is not failing, your own is failing. And you're not in Nigeria.
Anyway, so now the bottom line is irrespective of who, like I keep saying on this platform, irrespective of who is behind it, question is, why does it appear that the Nigerian state is incapable dealing with people who are behind it? Mohammed Aminu, then I ask you, what do you then say about what the governor of that state said? So you think the governor of that state would also say something that he doesn't know anything about? Are you there?
One of the problem we have in our dear country, Nigeria, is inactive or inaction about a particular act being carried by some people. If there is no punishment, a real punishment that has been done to that particular act, it tends to give some other criminal minds to do the same act. But for example, if a particular action is being taken or attack is being taken and the perpetrators have been brought to book, I bet you some of the attack will not be carried on. That is it.
Yeah, but in this case now, how do we deal with this? If a governor, how do we deal with it? If a governor is saying that those that attacked my state are people trained in Mali, trained in Libya.
First and foremost, this kind of attack have never happened on those states. That is the first step we need to take in terms of getting those who are behind these heinous and heartless attacks, so to say. It has never happened on those states. So the first step we ought to
there has not. This level of attack has never happened in Ondo State, but you also must not deny that there was a time Ondo Forest was overtaken by foreigners with hate of cows. That you can also not deny, right?
I'm not aware, but I'm talking about an attack in a church in particular like this on Sunday. That is what I'm trying to insinuate.
No. I mean, well,
I don't know about that one you're speaking about. I don't know. That is why I'm saying what I know. I cannot talk about what I don't know.
Well,
can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, but I'm telling you what has happened.
Okay. Okay, I can hear you.
So, but be that as it may, the question is, before you go off, or before we go off insinuating, attacking one another as to the identity of those who, or the ethnic nationality of those who may have perpetrated this crime, one thing that I keep and I most want to know is, what do they gain from such attacks? People, if you want to have your say, no, people, Aminu is saying that my network is bad. People watching me, is my network bad? I think Aminu's network is bad. That's why his network has kicked him out. Not mine. I don't know, but let me see. Let me watch myself on another device to see if my network is actually bad. If you want to join us, on the comment section is the link for you to join. So if you want to join the stream, if you want to join me here, but the condition of you joining me, you must have your camera on. Please, if you do not have your camera on and your environment clear, and once you join me, please sit up. I would not be having you if you're watching me and you're lying down. So I can't have you. Now, let me have first bring in a person that you all know very well, an Amazon, as long as this platform is concerned, and when it comes to national issues, you would know her stand. I have the privilege of bringing to this stream this evening my dear sister and elder sister, Ankyo Briggs. Sister, you're welcome to Njenje Media TV.
Thank you very much, Maazi. Good evening. Good evening to your regular and otherwise listeners. Let me put on the lights. Okay, go ahead.
Thank you very much. I think the comments in the comment section has cleared it. Aminu, your network is not good. Go and throw away your phone and buy another phone. Now let me get in Collins Oko here. Collins, hello Collins. Where are you joining us from?
I'm in South London, Maazi.
Okay, you are in South London. Okay, thank you, Collins.
Yeah.
Henry Abo, please, if you must join us, go ahead and put on your camera. Without putting on your camera, sadly, I'm not going to bring you in. So, Collins, what's your take of the madness that has happened in Indo today?
I actually joined in hoping to speak to my brother that was speaking before me. Hopefully that he still he can still hear me, really, because I wanted to listen to you, but I just had to jump in because last time we were talking about what was happening in the Southeast, his comment and his reaction was significantly different that day than his comment today. You know, because one thing, as much as I try to not buy into this whole we are different kind of thing, we are clearly different. You know, because whenever
there is no
it has
doubt.
to do,
there is no doubt we are different. I mean, Nigeria is a nation of nationalities. There is no doubt.
Yeah, so because whenever it comes to anything that feels like it has to do with people of our own ethnic wherever, we always have a very clever way or very funny way of trying to make excuses or try to defend what is clearly, I mean, what happened in on those states, everybody knows that this is not Southerners' traits. There are Muslims in South, but they wouldn't do this to their own people. You know, and lately, as much as I don't want to believe it, even though I know that my brothers in the East are also part of what is going on in the East, but I'm also beginning to think, is there something else also going on, you know, that a lot of people are not aware of? Because this whole thing, with the information coming from the Methodist head that was kidnapped and everything, clearly something is going on, and we cannot come here every time try to defend or go around it.
I think on that one, I mean, Aminu, you know, sadly he's gone, but I hope he comes back. You know, we will see. You know, some of the stand taken is, for me, it's off mark. But hold on, let me bring in my sister here, Ankyo Briggs. Please, can you mute? I think. Oh, okay. So, Ankyo, unmute, please.
I'm so sorry that my light is gone off, and I'm just waiting for them to to put on the generator, and I'm using my backlight of my phone is crazy. It really is very crazy.
I told you it's time to go off the crazy grid and move to solar. Welcome to the club.
Maazi, I spoke with you early, I mean at the weekend, just before I went home to my community at the weekend because of some family things. Now, when I came back, on my way back, as I was driving in, my phone began to come to life in terms of the internet and all the messages that were coming up. Thank God the light is back. And the messages that were coming in. And immediately I got home, I called you. I literally just put my bag down and I called you, and I was really so down. so down in the sense that this is just unbelievable. I mean, how barbaric are we? How much of barbaric actions or acts are we going to accept in this country before people are offended, where their sensibilities are so offended that they no longer would think of politics or any other thing of self-interest and really look at the issues that we are facing in this country? What is happening is there are human beings in Nigeria that are making decisions to carry out acts that are so barbaric. Animals will not behave in this manner. And every time, like Collins was trying to say, I was not able to connect earlier because so I didn't hear the first part of the conversation. But how barbaric do we have to be, we ourselves, that are not the victims that are being shot at? But what is happening in Nigeria? Nigeria is not a civilized country. There is no atom of civilization in Nigeria. The people that carry out these acts are worse than animals. About 2 weeks ago, I was watching the chief of NEMA in the explosion, as he said, of gas that went on in I think Kano State. These things are happening. Yes, these things are happening so much that we're beginning to lose track, because it's like all the guns going off in America. Now, I heard clearly this man, this is the head of NEMA. He could not control himself as a public officer. He was so enraged and angry that people dared to suggest that that explosion was not a gas explosion, but was actually a suicide bomber. He was so enraged on television that he was saying, so what? If it has happened, it has happened. It's the will of Allah. Then we move to the police. The police, who are supposed to protect life, are saying it is not a bomb explosion. It is gas explosion. And so this has happened. Children were involved. And yet we have this situation where in broad daylight, people who went to worship God as Christians were gunned down in their tents. I mean, from what I heard, and you can't believe Nigerian figures, you are told that it's 90-something people that were massacred, murdered in broad daylight. What's their crime? They're Christians. And people would tell you it's not a Christian Muslim thing. If it's not a Christian Muslim thing, is it Christians that are going into churches and killing Christians? And I'm hearing conversations this evening that is being suggested that perhaps it is political. I don't understand what anybody means by it is political. That maybe there is one political animal somewhere that thinks he has to go into a church to kill some people so that it would seem as if it's an what's it called? It's an ethnic thing. And so at the end of the day, when people like me are trying to figure out how enraged can we get with this act, we're also being told that, you know, you can't really get enraged because actually it's not a religious thing, that it is just some people trying to make trying to get a political leverage, trying to get a political mileage by killing people. So we are not able in Nigeria to actually be political to deliver dividends of democracy. What politics means to Nigeria, therefore, in my opinion, is barbarism, where the greed has so overwhelmed people in politics that they will do anything at all. And I'm asking, how long are you and I, as human beings, as Igbo people, as Niger Delta people, as Ijaw people, as somebody who is not from one ethnic nationality or the other, how long are we going to accept what is going on in Nigeria? When are we going to say that we can't live with each other? Why are we looking for solutions where there are no solutions? There are no solutions to what is happening in Nigeria, in my opinion. And I'm sick and tired of trying to look for solutions of what is happening in Nigeria, that we can somehow fix Nigeria. We have a situation where a political party, and nobody should say this, we should not bring politics into it. What are we going to bring into it if we don't bring politics into it? A political party has very clearly jettisoned the rightful issue of a dichotomy of northern and southern political power sharing, to the extent that the very people who claimed to have wanted the southern governors, who had this so-called Asaba Declaration, insisted that there should be the power should come to the south, now find themselves, the PDP, for instance, now find themselves in a situation where there is actually nothing wrong with fielding somebody exactly like the person who is going to leave in a political party. And now the other political party is playing a game that is making all of us to seem as if we're stupid. And everybody says, oh, they're very smart politically. They're not smart politically. We just cannot control our greed to the extent that it's going to destroy the South. And so we have ourselves in a situation where very clearly there is going to be somebody who is going to win the election in PDP, and yet we're being deceived, if you like, and I take myself out of that, accepting that deceit, where we're going to say that somehow the APC is going to field the Southerner, and somehow this Southerner is going to lose the election. And so at the end of the day, we come back to the same thing. And then people say we should not discuss it as if it's an ethnic thing. It is an ethnic thing. And that we shouldn't discuss it like it's a religious thing. It is a religious thing. It is my opinion. And I'm holding on to it. And
let me play devil's advocate here. You know, if we want to push it to religion, now in recent time we have seen, if we take America for instance, where people have walked into a church and mass killing has occurred, where like last week you saw the mass killing as well. The question then will be, is there any correlation to draw from here? Because in the case of America, the moment this mass shooting happens, within 24 hours, even less than 10 hours, you see, even what am I talking about? Within an hour, you see the individual being apprehended. But here, we have something that happens, no one, you know, I'm willing, I'm saying this online here, but I'm willing to bet anyone watching me now to see that within the next 2 weeks, even 1 month, that we will apprehend those who committed this crime. Why? Isn't that a case that the border is so porous, the system, the security system is kaput, everything is just gone to the dogs? Isn't that a clear case?
Yeah, Maazi, definitely. I think that is what, for me, that is what this is all about. Look, somebody says we have a porous border. Where is this porous border? This porous border is not in Rivers State. The porous border is not, the porous border is not in Rivers State. It is not in Abia State. It is not in Delta State. These porous borders we're talking about is in northern Nigeria. And then somebody tells me these people are not Nigerians, they are Malians, they are Nigerians.
Well, but we have, even in the south, we have even in the south, we have porous border. The other day, some Cameroonians invaded, I think that was Bakassi area, where over, they said some of their citizens that ran away from the southern Cameroon, they attacked them in Nigerian territory. So the madness here is that it is all over, both, but I agree with you. The porosity of our border within the northern states, it's unimaginable. It's unbelievable. And again, take it or leave it. Many people may not agree with this, but this is where most of these, because if you go by the words of Akledoru, that these people were trained in Libya, that they, come through Mali. They don't go through Bayelsa from Mali. It's all through certain states in the northern Nigeria that they come through. And it appears there is no strong, will to stop this madness, because that's what the issue is. Anyway, let me, yes.
Okay, the issue of porous border, my brother, we are all Nigerians and we all
Okay, sorry, your internet is blocked, is frozen now. Desmond Dike, may you have your contribution, then afterwards I'll bring in Colin Soko. Desmond, are you there? Desmond, you're muted.
Yes, Maazi.
Yes, go ahead.
Well, thank you so much for
Desmond,
having me.
where are you joining us from?
Oh, I live in Dallas, Texas.
Okay. So go ahead with your contribution.
Thank you so much for having me on your show. First of all, I want to say that I am a student of Maazi Namdekano, but that will not play on this. The last speaker has very much spoken most of my observations or what I had wanted to say. But I still have two things in mind. One is that if you look at all these killings or kidnappings that ends up being, because most of those killings result into paying ransom or the person losing his or her life, there is a pattern to all this. I'm saying this in respect to Mr. Mino, who was trying to say this has nothing to do with his tribe or his the Fulanis, right?
No, but hold on, can you respond to this? On the screen is his question. His argument is that the Ozubulu Anambra State Catholic Church mass shooting that happened in 2017, was that also labeled, that was labeled a Fulani herdsman attack until former Governor Willie Obiano addressed the issue and disclosed that the real people behind the evil, which happened to be two brothers from the same Ozubulu who had unsettled fraud in South Africa. Now, without appear to be defending anyone here, as an umpire, unbiased umpire here, I think what he's trying to allude to is, aren't we so quick in judging and partitioning this crime to have been committed by one particular set of people? And also, I take note, but for those who are joining me now, I take note to say this. Some of you who just joined later asking question, why did we title this event as Unknown Gunmen? Again, I repeat, the reason why we chose Unknown Gunmen is because this was the words of the Catholic themselves, the Catholic Church. The Catholic Church said that those who attacked, they were. Let me quickly pull the press statement by the Catholic Church again, so that we see. Because at the end of the day, I believe in If we yank off emotions and stick with facts, we might get somewhere. Now, question then that I would then ask is, why would the Catholic Church, if you see here in their own statements today, they are saying, it is so sad to say that while the Holy Mass was going on, unknown gunmen attacked St. Francis Catholic Church over Ondo State. What I'm saying, they might be wrong, they might be right, it's not for me to say. All I'm only doing is to look at facts dispassionately. Now, this narration of unknown gunmen might change. Let's bear that in mind. It might change the moment we begin to speak to victims who survived the attack, who had close encounter with that attack. It might be that the language the perpetrators used in communicating might suddenly be different. Or it might be that they were speaking their own local language, who knows? But I want you, Desmond, to please take into account the question asked by Aminu, that when Ozobro happened, people quickly blamed it. I know that I had issue with two of my friends then, when I, then as the president of Ezeoke, we issued a statement saying whoever was behind this should be arrested. And some people were making an attack. No, you are coward. You should have said the Fulani headsmen who were, behind it. So when it turned out that it weren't actually, that this was an internal thing, you see where sometimes emotion doesn't allow for, critical thinking to come in. So how do you then address Aminu in this case, in line with what you're saying?
Well, I think that Ozobolo massacre, to me, it was an isolated case because that was like first of its kind. And that isolation, that conclusion came after the governor, with every intel around him, was able to come up to make that declaration. Other than that, we would have concluded that it is still the same people who has this act of violence, or who have this pattern of doing stuff. So you can always, it is easy for us to conclude that this has to be them. So, but
you see, these are, exactly what you say. It is easy for us to conclude. Isn't that easiness for us to conclude? Isn't that on itself the clear case of the failure of the state? Clear case of the total, catastrophic failure that the state is unable to tell you this is the person. Because in America now,
I agree with you.
The mass shooting in school, you see the video of the individual being handcuffed. You see the video of the individual. But here, they are not spirit. Honestly, and I will be shocked that if the church does not have like CCTV or anything, because it just beats you, and you think, before we start accusing each other, and this thing starts getting out of hand. Honestly, we shouldn't. I give no damn who is behind this, but the idiots must pay the supreme price. No, that's
Maazi, originally I didn't want to give that coloration, right? That Fulani thing coloration. I didn't want to go there, but until I listened to Mr. Ahmed, and he was kind of sentimental, trying to play the ostrich, like trying to act fast or act smart, so we don't go there. That's why I decided to, delve into that, to say it is too early for him to make that type of claims. And then I also think it is also too early for the governor of Ondo State to make the statement he made that these people are from Mali. And if they are from Mali, and he spoke like somebody who have well-detailed information. So if these people are from Mali, trained in Libya and all that, what is he planning to do, he and the president? For me, this is an act of war. If these people are actually from Libya, from Mali, trained in Libya. So that means it's a highly sophisticated plan and well-executed, investment by those people from Mali. And if they're from Mali, are they sponsored by the government of Mali? If they're individuals and they're Malians, how do we go after them and get them to justice. That's my own concern. And not just making open-ended claims here and there. So I am not saying it's a Fulani herdsman. I'm also not saying it's unknown government, because to me, I have a different view about the so-called.
Hold on. What is unknown government? Unknown government could be Fulani, it could be Igbo, it could be. Unknown government is someone who used gun, kill somebody, but he's not known.
Yeah.
So it's not like he's a union. It's not like he's a club.
Yeah.
He's a criminal who committed a crime because he's not been caught. That's why he's still unknown. The moment you catch him, you profile the individual, he becomes known. You made a very excellent point here. You know, people don't understand this. If the statement the governor made is anything to go by, this is an act of war. That foreigners trained in Libya from Mali would invade you. And we are here talking about it. And the military jet is not flying up high. Then Nigeria is nothing but a banana republic. It's as simple as that.
Maazi, before I leave you and your audience, I also want to correct this impression, be it an Igbo man, Hausa man, or Yoruba man. Let us, you know, like I said, I'm a student of Nnamdi Kanu, you know, to the blood. But when somebody is making sense, I always go for those. I mean, that person who is making, for instance, someone like Peter Obi. Initially, I'm one of those that says Peter Obi will never be president, you know, because of some factors. But now I'm campaigning for him. I'm supporting him in all my social media platforms. That hey, this is the real guy. This is the real deal. We have to support him. That is one. Look, based on what Mr. Ahmed was saying, and you saying what happened in America. America is a different climb. It is so wrong or belittling to compare the United States of America and Nigeria and crime and how they fight crime. Look, when something happened in the United States, everybody forbids it. Everybody frowns at it, regardless of religion, creed, or whatever. We all say this is wrong, and they have system. I used to be into law enforcement, you know, sort of. So the system is built, and it doesn't matter who you are. When you go against the system, the law will bite you. It will bite you really hard. So Nigerians need to learn to be Nigerians first, before ethnicity or before religion.
You see, you know, I know this is your last word, but what you're trying to say, Nigerians need to learn to be Nigerians before ethnicity. It is, Nigeria is a social construct. It's not something that is not an organic creation. You being Igbo is organic. You being Yoruba is organic. Someone being Fulani is organic. Now, it's just like when you talk about when you talk about an English person, you talk about a Scottish person. These are people, organic. This is what they are. But when you then talk about the European Union, it is a social engineering. It is an artificial creation, and you cannot tell someone, do not be Scottish, do not be English, but be European. You see, so that's akin to what the thing is. However, the thing is that we must garner our civility and our conscience to come as a people to say, if we ever, as my sister Ankyo Brick said before, that this is an act of barbaric and a barbaric people. If we had anything to do with civility, the conversation would be, how do we find those behind this massacre? How, if anything is to go by the words of the governor, how does the Nigerian army in less than 24 hours is not telling us these are people who invaded this country? If they are not able to do it, then from the chief of army staff to the last man of the army, they are not fit for purpose. That's what it is. And that's what we should be demanding. Because, I mean, it's, honestly, I can't phantom. Look at small Togo. Can this nonsense happen in small Togo and you tell me that they ran away? Come on, let's hold the cucumbers and carrots running their affairs. Let's hold them to account. What manner of nonsense is that? Anyway, thank you for being part of this.
Thank you, sir.
You know,
Appreciate
maybe if you may wish to have your concluding thought before I get my sister back on and Henry. Henry, quickly turn your camera so that we'll bring you in.
Well, it goes down to what I was trying to say, that we need to, even though we have our this organic setup that made up Nigeria, but here we're Nigerian now, regardless of our backgrounds. When stuff like this happen, we need to keep away that sentiment, that ethnic sentiment or tribal sentiment, and be humans first, be Nigerians first, and then we can give time the opportunity to answer some of these questions. Like you rightly said earlier on, that let's hold on until survivors begin to speak. Then that can give us much to, to hold on to make a conclusion, to make a reasonable conclusion. But right now, some people from my area is saying, oh, it's the Fulani herdsmen. The Fulanis are saying, no, it can never be us. So a country can never be a country with this type of mindset. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you. So, sister, you're welcome back. I think your network, Nigerian view there, again, it's happened again. So, Collins Oko, come in, please. Collins, you've been listening attentively there. What's your take? Please, anyone calling me, stop calling me. What you have to do is to join the stream. Do not call me. Collins, go ahead.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Okay, I can hear you now.
Yeah, the thing about the whole thing is that I'm genuinely afraid. Yeah, I'm genuinely afraid.
Collins, your mic is so low.
I have and I visit Nigeria.
Collins, your mic is so low. You may go out and come back in.
Let me see.
No. I think if you're using any form of headset, please take it off. Your mic is so low. Okay, sis, please go ahead.
Very quickly, Maazi, personally as a person, I cannot force or expect anybody else to accept, as I do, that my ethnicity comes first. And, I'm sick and tired of hearing this narrative that by proclaiming that what is happening in Nigeria, in one's opinion, is religious, or that what is happening in Nigeria is ethnicity, that somehow that makes you and not a very good Nigerian. Well, I would rather be a very good Niger Delta person. I would rather be a very good Ijaw person than to be a bad person of my ethnicity and then try to pretend to be a good Nigerian. My brother, I am so sorry that in Nigeria we are hearing and seeing. One of the pictures I saw seemed to me, and Maazi, I sent it back to you, seemed to be a mother who was covering her child. It looked like that to me. I pulled it in to try to see what that picture was. I'm a mother.
And that's what that picture is. And you can see how that child,
yes,
the bullet on the mother's back and the head of that child blown away.
I was blown away. You saw it. Maazi, my brother, let me tell you, what is happening here? Even today in America, there was mass shooting. So it's not as if what is happening in Nigeria is just unique to Nigeria. But what is happening worldwide, from Ukraine to America and all these places, is that there are people who are not as sensitive as you and I, that are human beings, but have no value for life. Don't tell me, and this is my conclusion, and I hope that people who should hear this are hearing this, don't tell me to be a good Nigerian and keep quiet over what is happening in Nigeria, where it's very clear that people who are going into churches and murdering Christians while they are praying and worshiping God are somehow Christians doing this to Christians. I don't believe it. You have to prove it to me for me to believe it. I do not believe it, that that is what is happening. What is happening in Nigeria is one group of people, for political reasons, for greed, for the sake of ownership, wanting to own, wanting to conquer, are determined to destroy Nigeria. And I'm just saying that as a person, as a woman, as a mother, as an Ijaw person, I'm saying that I will advise myself and my people not to just sit down quietly, helplessly, and accept that somehow, because we are Nigerians, that this is somehow okay and that we should find a solution to it. My brother, there is no solution to a situation where people go into a church, murder people. Channels is calling it a bomb blast. It was not a bomb blast. These are people who were shot at and killed. So don't let nobody say it's a bomb blast. The solution for me, in my opinion, if we cannot live together, I see no reason why we should not agree that we have to live apart. Why? When will this end? When will this end? It's been going on since 2015 on a massive scale. When will it end?
Thank you very much. That's a very strong place, to anchor your submission. But if you still wish to stay around, let me bring in Dubem back again to have. I think he had internet connection, or would I say you had issues with the connectivity. Please take away your headset. I think that
I had to change my device. I had to log in with another
phone. Okay, so go ahead.
Yeah, what I said, what I was trying to say is that I'm genuinely afraid. I'm scared, and I don't even live in Nigeria. But because this could be any of us. Somebody could have just visited home and tried to go for Thanksgiving. People have families there that died. And I think the governor is trying to be clever by half, by saying people train in Mali. Under how many hours you were able to figure this out? He just didn't want to say Fulani people. And I'm not saying this, after everything, if by the end of the day, and it turns out there is no Fulani people, I'll come back here and I'll apologize to Amino. But right now, as it is right now, he will really have to convince me, another person will have to convince me that it's not these people that are doing this, because it's the same pattern. They are everywhere. These people have made clear what their intentions are. They've stated what they wanted, and they're doing everything to show that they are not there to play. So for the governor to jump out a few hours after this means that they had intel, that they've been trailing these people prior for them carrying out this action. Because that would be the only way for him to have reached that conclusion right now. They know the race of these people. But if he says it's Fulani people, that would be very political. So he didn't want to go there. So it makes this is a safe way to say these are the people that have done this, but I don't want to be on the wrong side of the politics when the backlash and every other thing comes back. So I'm afraid. That's my conclusion, and everybody should be. Even the ones that are not in Nigeria. You can travel from Lagos to the east now, but if you're lucky enough to get there, you could be gunned down right in the church. And I don't even go to church like that. But we all have one or two reasons to want to visit church once in a while. Somebody could be somebody's mother, somebody's son, somebody's sister. I think everybody should really, really, if it's to divide or whatever, I think this thing is getting too much. For how long are we going to just keep carrying on? Like it's not you today. It's not. Thank God that nobody that I know died or something. How long are we going to keep doing this? You know, people are losing family, losing a whole generation. And we just think that it's worth it to keep the country one
Yeah.
at costs. It really is not making sense right now. You know, so anybody can say whatever they want. I mean, I could be saying I refuse to look at those pictures. I refuse to look at them. You know, is not something that I can handle. You know, I don't know, man. I'm really lost of words. So let me just stop here. I might
Anyway,
be.
thank you very much. Then let me bring in Mami there. Mami or Mani, can you please unmute and make your input?
Yeah, I just wanted to say I've seen a little bit of the video, and it's a very horrible thing to actually watch watch the video that I saw. It's a sad state, and also Nigeria has become a state where all these heinous things are happening, and the governors themselves are not actually able to give you a concrete reasons or a concrete facts of who might be behind it. And it seems that the population themselves are now also using the word unknown gunmen to describe people who are attacking them. So it seems like an easy way out to just point to a specific information they are not able to actually clarify themselves. So due to the fact that this unknown government has been used to describe situation where the security situation is so poor, information is so poor, and investigation into these situations are also so poor, you get people themselves not knowing how to actually describe the situation that's actually happening. It's just a sad situation. And I truly believe that until we actually have a total disintegration of Nigeria, this is going to continue. That's my belief.
Thank you. Obviously, thank you for your input. Then we have okay, once more, anyone joining us, please, if you do not have your camera on, I do have a couple of people who are at the backstage. You know, if you do not have your camera on, sorry, we are not going to bring you in. If not for anything, we need to know and see the faces of those we are speaking to. Now, before we continue, let me quickly, give us a soundbite of what Nigerians are saying and what Nigerians are feeling. If we go to social media and let's look at Twitter, for instance, you basically see that is what is trending in Nigeria now. You can see that about 6 hours ago, there was a call for blood to be donated, and that bloods are urgently needed. If you're currently in Owo, on those states, kindly visit the Federal Medical Center, FMC, Owo, to donate blood to victims of St. Francis Church attack in Owo. And people were being called to retweet. Now, you can see that Bukola Saraki as well, that is the former Senate president, he issued a statement and he condemned that act. He says, "My prayers are with the families of the worshippers who were killed today during a church service in St. Francis Catholic Church, Owo, Ondo State. I say these gruesome killings must end." Now, he goes further to say the following: "We must protect all Nigerian lives by dealing decisively with the terrorists that perpetrate such acts. It is my hope and that of Nigerians that the terrorists will be swiftly apprehended and made to face the consequences of their action." And if you ask me, I think the line of thought is what I want to also align myself with. Because listen, this act is an act of terrorism. There is no, in my worldview, there is no if, there is no but it is, and squarely so, an act of terrorism against a people, against states, against children. Some of you who haven't seen those pictures, listen, these pictures hunt, especially if you're a parent. To note, like the one my sister said, a woman, you can see from the posture, probably used her back to cover the baby, or the young child, so that, and you can see her back riddled with bullets. And it appears after probably shooting the woman dead, you can see the young girl also taken away. And that is, I don't know. It's so sad to really, really, these things keep happening. Where you find succor and the difference between what is happening in Nigeria and us now to what is happening elsewhere is, like, once it happens in America, you see people are being apprehended. You can see government taking action. But here in Nigeria, it appears, people go scot-free. Now tell me, why would someone, because the government and the security agents' inability to timely apprehend these individuals and whoever is behind this, gives credence and gives the notion. And again, if something like this happens and you didn't apprehend whoever was behind it, of course, you're giving people to think whatever they want. They can think was done by this person, if it was done by the other person. Imaginations will go wild. But if things were done timely, things will definitely be different. Now, also, having said this, like my sister said, I would bring you back in. When we look at solution, it appears, people are saying, let us, the solution is to break Nigeria. Thank you. I see when you are nodding your head when that line was thrown by Mami there. Do you agree?
Well, Maazi, my brother, I mean, I always like to be very realistic. I don't think along the lines of probabilities and let's give it one more try. Let's try it again. This is not about Nigeria as a country. This is about, so far, people that are identified as Nigerians by who they are in a specific geographical location. Therefore, we have no choice today. We are Nigerians. We have accepted that. But what is a Nigerian? What is a Nigerian? A Nigerian is either an Igbo man, a Yoruba man, a Kogi man, whatever your ethnicity is. As long as you are in Nigeria, you are a Nigerian. But you cannot be a Nigerian if you are not a member of one of these ethnic nationalities. So what I'm saying, therefore, is that if we cannot, and it seems like we cannot, if we cannot live together, should we not find a way where we can agree so that we can live on our own? How many more people have to die? How many more people, how many more Christians have to be slaughtered in churches? How many more farmers have to lose their land? How many more people in Taraba State have to lose their land?
Sister, let me again, to spoil, because it appears everyone on this stream agrees on the line of thought you're throwing. But let me play the devil's advocate once more. And if in playing my devil's advocate here, I will say to you, if what you're saying is to break Nigeria because there are such crimes, does it then mean that once you break Nigeria, such crimes will no longer happen? That people, people will no longer have engage in mass shooting.
Maazi,
So
can I answer that, Maazi?
Yes, yes.
Please, Maazi, I'm old enough to remember the Civil War. I understood the Civil War because I was in secondary school when it happened. And so even going back as far back to the Civil War, we cannot, oh God, we cannot believe or think that by some magic wand that war, that it didn't happen because of the reasons why it happened. It's not about criminality, Maazi. Yes, to do what these people are doing is a crime. But what I'm saying is that it has gone above what we call criminality, where somebody steals and you jail them. These are people wiping out other people, either because they are Christians or because they are from one ethnic nationality or the other. And what we're doing in Nigeria is pretending that somehow that this is a problem that is Nigeria. If it is a Nigerian problem, why are people not killing other people across Nigeria and taking over their land the way other people, some people in Nigeria are doing? Let us not pretend on the outside that somehow we are better Nigerians than people like me who are saying, my brother, I would rather find myself in a situation in River State where I know my enemy and I know who is responsible, and not find myself in a situation where unknown gunmen, what is the meaning of unknown gunmen, Seth? What is the meaning of unknown gunmen, for crying out loud?
Now there is this comment from Papa Binani that he says it is better to break, we better break and let our own be killing us. At least you know that your own people were the one killing. So, but if crime is committed, aren't we? Is the issue not to tackle the crime that is committed as opposed to who killed you? Because if someone killed you, you're dead. You're dead. I mean, killing is killing.
Okay, now.
So I'm just being, because if I look at that argument, so is one happy? Does it make it less? Does it make the death less painful, knowing that you are killed by your own person?
It doesn't make the death less painful, Maazi. But what is happening is that there is a feeling of helplessness. There is this thing about being persecuted. I think that's the right word. There is this thing about being killed because I'm a Christian. Okay, now, these unknown gunmen, why do they only go to churches? Is that the only place of worship in Nigeria, churches? Is that the only places of worship? Why do they only slaughter Christians?
I personally have issues also with even calling them unknown gunmen. I would probably prefer calling them terrorists, because that's who they are. They are inflicting, because, without gainsaying or anything. Though the line of calling on unknown gunmen is because of the press statement issued by the Catholic bishop saying that these were the people that came. But if not, it's nothing but terrorist act. I think, Dubem, you want to say something?
Yeah, Maazi, I would like to answer your question with that. I will always go back to what the Methodist head said, because I don't want to believe that a man that age, with the kind of diverse people that he controls, will come and make all the statements that he makes if he actually wasn't telling what he had. I think crime, like the big auntie there said, is different from what is going on. People want to wipe you out and take your land, and somebody wants to steal your stuff. They're two different things, And the longer this goes on, they're kidnapping and they're getting ransom. They're arming themselves more and more, So, what this tells me, and this is me, if you probably ask me, I'm always a bit like, I usually tell people I cannot live outside London. I like big cities. I like big countries. I like everything. But it comes to a time that you begin to ask yourself, to what end? Because really and truly, what is going on here? Certain people believe that a certain land, belongs to them, even though they are not from there, and they're doing everything. They're doing everything to acquire this land, and they're not like, let's share, or they're not buying. You know, because a lot of people will also accuse Igbo people. But when Igbo people go, they actually buy, they pay for it. These people are using brute force, and somebody is enabling them. All the ones collecting ransom. Nobody is getting caught. No, none of the monies are being marked, even the ones that government is handing out themselves. The monies are not being marked, so they are not getting, you know, these people go. Maazi, the truth is that what happened today, as sad as it is, nobody will be caught or nobody will be charged. You know, it just, if they parade people or whatever, you will never hear anything about it. And we go back in, and in a few weeks' time, it happens again. The truth of the matter is just because it's not, we pray that it doesn't come around us, but it's happening to people, you know. So do we just sit quiet, idly, because we have criminals and Igbo land? And last time that I came here, I spoke about, you know, how I believe that some people that were armed in the East are responsible for certain things. That we know there are criminals everywhere, you know, but criminality is quite different from what is going on. This is not criminal acts. This is more of a cleansing, you know. So we sit down and get cleansed, or we just run away and leave the land for them. I stop there.
Okay, thank you very much. Then, okay, Anki, you're back. I think you have two devices in now. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I've turned one off. It's network, oh.
Okay.
I'm just going backwards and forwards. It's network.
It's the same. It's the same Nigeria. Nigeria is doing your device.
You see, that's it. I split it. So I split it. I've split it. I go this way.
It won't happen in the it won't happen in the John nation.
It may happen in Ijaw nation, but at least there will be fewer of us, and it may happen in Alibo, but there will be fewer people there to handle. No, but seriously, Maazi, we should stop really joking around. I mean, like you and I today, going back in history, the little that some of us know. There are sometimes people blame Zik for certain things, or Awolowo for certain things. We are blaming them. They are no longer here to take those blames that we see as mistakes or errors that they made. Where Zik was supposedly have said to Amadu Bello, let us forget our differences. And he said to him, no, let us not forget our differences. Let us discuss our differences. Perhaps if they had done that, maybe we would have gone. Don't forget, history also tells us that when Nigeria was going to be given independence, that it was actually the North that didn't want to be part of Nigeria. And the British had to convince them. So the fact that today some people are saying that it may be better if we go our separate ways. And I think what the problem is that some people think if we go our separate ways, that crime will still, of course, crime will continue. There's no crime in America, but is America not better than some countries? You know, so there is crime everywhere. There are criminals everywhere. There's criminality everywhere. People will take advantage of situations as and when it suits them. But what I'm saying is, how long, this question we ask it here again, how long as a people do we continue to accept that? Maazi, if another shooting happens, I will call you in the middle of the night or anytime and say, Maazi, let's do something about this. Let's have a discussion about this. And then after the discussion, then what, Maazi? What's the answer? What's the solution? And then next time, because it's not you and me that God forbid, of course, because you and I are not involved, I will still call you up and say, Maazi, they've just killed some people. Have you heard? What do we say about it? So what are we saying?
Now, when we talk about solution, before we round up people, part of the solution had, you know, as many of you said, is to balkanize Nigeria. People like me had always argued that I do believe if we go back to regional governance, or at least with the current geopolitical regions that we have today, probably convert them into the region, because obviously the region before, when you talk about Eastern Nigeria, comprised of the Southeast and the South-South. And today we have 6 geopolitical regions, and that 6 geopolitical regions are somewhat inhabited by homogeneous people. There are, like in the South-South, where you have minor variations, but at least that is a thing that could, you know, I believe the people are not up in arms with one another, that they could not be a quasi-semi-nation on its own. You know, I'm not, you know, so when people talk about this, and that my proposition then is 2. 1, to fight for a collective South. 1 is to have that regional kind of arrangement where the center becomes weak, then the regions would, like before, go, you know, if Southeast want to convert every street to rail, let them do it. If someone in the Northwest wants to convert, or in the Northeast want to convert the Sambisa forest to a University of Agriculture where cows will be littered everywhere, so be it. If somebody in South-South wants every you know, river entrance to be a port, so be it. And people can make their decisions, and they can probably pay certain percentages to the center. Maybe that may work. But one thing that is very, and I think my sister will discuss this earlier today, one thing that really breaks me and makes me sad is when you talk about the political class and the political will to demand for some of these things that we talk about, it appears that these things are non-existent. Example is, it appears every one of us has forgotten the Asaba Declaration that happened last year. For once, where the Southern governors came together and had some declaration. Now, go back, if you're not, let me not bore you with the details, but if you want to know the details of Asaba Declaration, go back to the communique. You can Google Asaba Declaration. You Google the communique, you can read the details of that communique. Now, in that communique, what got many people excited at that point, saying that maybe the South were coming together for once to fight for a collective front. It appears that has also disappeared. That today, that everything that they came and they stood for in that declaration is gone to naught. It amounts to basically nothing. Why? You can see the reflection of the failure of Asaba Declaration in the PDP primary and the way it went. What would have happened that if the South had presented a strong front saying that they were going to support a candidate, but suddenly what you have is in between the Southeast and South-South, you saw many people, some shouting like, shouting at each other in the pages of newspaper on televisions, rather than work together. So does it then tell us that even this balkanization, that those that should be in the front, even in the restructuring of regional governance, that those that should be in the forefront of that are not ready to step up the game? Sister Ankyo Briggs, I'll start with you on this. But I think before I do, I have someone, Mashalino, just joined us. Mashalino, let's take your view before we go ahead with my sister Ankyo Briggs.
Okay, Maazi. Good evening, everyone. Actually, this is my first time to come live like this. To start with, I'm a hardcore IPOB. I believe in the destruction of Nigeria because it's not organic. Let me say to what happened today in the church. sorry. If we all remember, in 2019 or 2020, Nigerian government received already information. Are you still there?
We're all listening to you.
Nigerian government received information that some politicians recruited Al-Shabaab to do the bidding, the killing in Yoruba land. And then ISWAP was supposed to come down to the east because Boko Haram refused.
Can you, when you say that they received intel, can you give and elaborate more on that?
Yes, it was actually there in the public domain. Nnamdi Kanu was already
No,
saying that.
hold on. Sorry. Step back. Let's, here we deal more with facts. Now,
With facts,
when you say so, you give us instances. I'll give you an example. I talked about the failure of the Southern governors, and I said this is how they failed because they came together in Asaba and made a declaration demanding certain things from Nigeria, which they failed us. So when you say they recruited, who are they? How is that information there? Please,
I understand what you are saying, but you are correct. But actually, I wanted to say that I am not the one who made it. It's already in the public. It's open there for people to investigate. But that's okay. Let's leave it. Let's move forward to what happened in the church. If anyone says, for example, that this is not the Fulani or the northern politicians responsible for this, then let's go ask El Rufai again. All the people that he paid money in Mali, when he said he paid them money, let's go ask El Rufai again. All those people you paid money those days and everything, how far? We have this every time. It's there. They're saying that these people have already found out that this kidnapping, killing is lucrative. So how are they going to stop it? And our sister there is telling you every now and then, kept saying that this country, so-called Nigeria, is not working. Not our ancestors did not even create Nigeria. Nigeria is just a property of Britain. Nigeria is just like me, Mashalino. I registered it worldwide. Nigeria does not belong to anyone in that country. Nobody formed that word, Nigeria. Why are you people claiming what doesn't belong to them? Till today, none of our fathers, none of our ancestors came together and said Nigeria. I mean,
you're sorry, but again, let me butt in here. You're regurgitating something that is very clear and everyone has established. Nigeria, and I said, hold on, I said it before now.
Yeah.
Nigeria is not an organic nation. But again, now we must be very careful. When everyone knows this system is not working, this is not a don't make it sound as if someone doesn't buy your idea in total, that person is stopping you from achieving or obstructing whatever you wish to achieve. Now, what we are talking about here, if we come down, is to say there are options, because we said we're going to close with solutions. How do we stop these from going further? And the question was asked. I said, hypothetically speaking, playing the devil's advocate here, if we break Nigeria into how many? I don't know. Because if we talk about, let's take language, for instance. I think the Igbos and maybe the Jaws are probably the most blessed because they are indeed, homogeneous. Because if an Igbo man, how do you know an Igbo man? Because of and the Yorubas as well, because they speak the Igbo language. The minorities that are over 250 would then ask you, are we going to split Nigeria into 250 in order to accommodate every single person? That led us to the question that I asked. Why can't Nigeria then look at converting the 6 geographical zone that you have today into probably 6 geographical governance structure. That, hold on, because if you look at it, when you talk about the Igbo, and maybe with minor adjustments, because you have probably Igbos, for instance, in some states that are outside the 5 eastern states, like in Benue, or in some argue other places like in Delta or so, where you can say, okay, we have a boundary adjustment. I don't know. But again, let's, really think deep, and see what is it that we are proposing, not necessarily on probably an emotional roller coaster, but let's, get this. So again, you have 2 minutes to go ahead and.
Let me respond to your question, okay?
Yes.
Maazi, the truth is that Nigeria was created in 1914, and you cannot say by 1890 or 1590 that our people did not know their nationality. We have nationality. We had nationality. There is nothing you are creating again. We were living as nations. Go and read the letter the King of England sent to us. I have a copy in my house here. Go and see how he addressed. So when you come up with this idea of what? Check the whole world. There was no nation that created in the last 500 years. You want, I bet, with 10,000 pounds? No nation came out in the last 10,000 years. So when you are making this statement that what you're going to do with the minority, why we do this and that, I mean, Maazi, please, you are the one emotional. I bet you now with 10,000 pounds, no nation emerged in the last 10,000 years.
Again, if you,
so we know our nationalities.
This is
You are saying here.
This is not a shouting.
Is the problem why?
No. This is exactly. You see exactly why sometimes some of you cannot be engaged. This is not.
No, I'm engaged.
You're not, because you are the only person. You are the only person on this stream that is shouting. Why?
No.
You are. No. So the question I'm asking you, if you calm down, the question I'm asking you is very simple. Now, we know that not only Nigeria that has this problem, Africa was balkanized by colonial masters, and the original boundaries known by our ancestors were all destroyed, right? And brought into, as you rightly said, I give it to you, brought into a system where it is a business enterprise. Nigeria, as we all know, is a registered company by the Royal Niger Company, right?
Yes.
And knowing this, however, let us also know that nothing on earth is static. Recall that before now, even if you go to Europe, there were times what they call the Scandinavians were virtually one, but eventually they began to separate, and they become what they are today. Now, to a point after separation, there comes another angle to it when the European Union concept by Schuman began to come with the idea of merging these nations back again. But again, the only difference here is with their consent. And that is where Nigeria fails all these days, because the people were not brought together by their consent. People were brought together by fiat of someone saying, let us merge this, so that it will be easy for us to manage these people as a business empire. Now, here we are, and my sister said it, that Dr. Nanda Azikiwe, even if he was, the things they did before, we can all blame them. We can do whatever we can argue that they did right or wrong. But here we are. What are the propositions? In Igbo, they say that onye ma ofu nduru amaghị nduru, meaning he who knows only one road knows no road. If we put that into perspective, what are the options? Are there options that might cause us more trouble than less? What, because again, where we are now is a case of negotiation and give and take. What is it that we can put to the table
sorry,
to
let me
reduce this level of madness happening?
Sorry, 1 minute. I will just round up.
Yes.
Now, why is Nigerian government not listening to the voices of the people? See now in Yoruba, I can tell all the people in the Yoruba land, they're now calling for Oduduwa. And they know that most Biafrans want to live. In any civilized world, or if you're a leader, you only need to listen to the demands of the people if you really want to. So the question is not about how do we live. Go to the village and ask elderly woman there. The elderly woman will say, I don't want to be a Nigerian anymore. What do you want to be? They want to be a Biafran. So the point that I'm making here is that it is not the
hold on. You see exactly you see exactly this point you've made. Now, you brought Biafra into the mix. And this is one thing that where some of us get this wrong. Biafra is a creation of 18th century. What were we before the Biafra? Because you see, that's why we say sometimes, where do you draw the line? Because, for instance, now, if you talk about you want to create Biafra, my sister here will tell you she's not Biafra because that's not her identity. That her identity is Ijo. And I will tell you, Biafra up, down, my identity is Igbo. No apology. That's who I am. So if we talk, so you see, now the question, you see, honestly, I'm good we're having this, it's good we're having this conversation. The thing then there is, where do we stop the demarcation? Where do we draw the line?
To answer
That's
your
why
question,
sometimes it's not, listen, it's not also cowardice. It's not cowardice. And that sometimes when people who are not deep thinkers will begin to say, this is one Nigerian is, this is what.
Okay,
hold on. It's also not cowardice for people to propose to have a regional government the way we had it from independence. But today, because things were changed after Midwest region was created, because things have changed, if people then propose, can we, because of these changes, move and convert these 6 regions into, or 6 geopolitical regions into economic region as well?
Okay, Maazi, to respond to this question is that my sister from a job, the Nigerian government, nothing stopped them from carrying out a referendum. They can as well, a referendum, they can as well decide. So it is not something where we keep on with hypothetical statements saying, what if? The simple thing is carry out a referendum. If they want to be a job, nobody is forcing them.
But the question then is, the referendum, it's been being demanded to the point that even the El-Rufai committee report put it on the APC restructuring agenda. Yet the government refuses. What then do you do?
Yes,
you destroy yourself.
And that is why they are killing now. So that is why they continue to kill, because they are desperate. They are very desperate, like my sister has been saying. They are very desperate to take your land, to intimidate you. This is exactly what they did when they were doing it in Southern Kaduna. We said it was in Southern Kaduna. When they brought it to Benue State, we said it is in Benue State. Now it is in fact, it will come to our bedroom. It will.
Okay, thank you.
We
Thank you
haven't
very
seen
much.
anything yet.
Let me bring
Thank
your bricks here. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So,
Thank you.
What's your take? You've obviously had the conversation so far. What's your take on that now?
Is that for myself?
No. I'm asking as Sister Ankyo Briggs.
Okay. Let me step back a bit. You're talking about the fact that the Southern governors came together and made the
declaration, Asaba declaration.
Yes, because I don't want to go. I don't want to go into where Marshall went and came back to. That's for another day. But I think when he said that if they want to be Ijaw, they can be Ijaw. I don't understand the meaning of that. The issue of referendum is that before you can conduct a referendum, you yourself have to want the referendum. And everybody have to, I am very much for a referendum in Nigeria, across Nigeria. The
Exactly.
ethnic nationalities in Nigeria have
Yes.
to opt into having a referendum, so that Yoruba people should have a referendum, Ijaw people, Shekiri people, Urobo people, so that they can decide what they want. What cannot happen in Ijaw land is that there is nobody outside of Ijaw land that will come and decide whether we should have a referendum or not. It's Ijaw people that will make that decision. Now, moving to the declaration of the Southern governors. You and I also had very long discussions on the declaration of the Southern governors and how excited we were in the process of our thinkings and discussions, like many people, that finally the Southern governors have come together, irrespective of their religion and irrespective of their political parties, came together as a region and said that they believed, and rightly so, that the presidency should be zoned, and it should be zoned. And it is shocking that it is not. It should be zoned to the south. Now, I said to you from the beginning of that, even before anybody started discussing something about Igbo presidency, I started talking about and gave interviews as to why I believe that the presidency in 2023, if we ever get to have an election, should go to the southeast. And I also said why it shouldn't go to the southwest. And I also said why I, as an Ijaw and a Niger Delta person, didn't believe that it was a priority for my people. I believe that the priority for us should be the priority of having a new constitution, and how I believe that Nigeria should be restructured. Now, having said all those things, we came forward and heard the Southern governors make this declaration. So it is shocking, as I have said, that the Southeast, most of the states in the Southeast, preferred political party is the PDP. Abia votes to PDP, and other states. Definitely the Niger Delta states, where I come from, is and was a PDP preferred state voting until what's his name, Adams Oshomole, became the governor. So in terms of where we prefer to vote, I am shocked that the Southern governors ended up after shouting and making a declaration that it must, using the word must, and which they were attacked for by Arewa and many other northern groups, that they actually, PDP as a political party, now decided that there was nothing wrong, after all, in the presidency being zoned on the PDP of all parties to the north. So what on earth made the Southern governors to decide that the presidency must come to the south? And so for me, it shows that we don't have politicians that can make decisions on behalf of the people. The politicians we have in the South, the politicians we have in my own region, let me stay with my region now, are not bold enough and strong enough to make a decision in the interest of the region that will give us what we want. What are those things we want? We want a restructured Nigeria. We want a Nigeria where everybody keeps what he has. We want a Nigeria that is federated. Now, if we fail to achieve any of these things, then I see no reason whatsoever why we, the people, cannot make up our mind, whether you're Igbo, whether you're Shekiri, Urobo, Efik, whatever, Ijo, whatever you are. I see no reason why you cannot make up your mind that if you cannot stay, if you are not able to stay in a marriage that is likely going to take your life, then to save your life, you have to leave that marriage. And that's where we are in Nigeria today. I know, I believe, I experienced the war. I keep saying to people, my grandmother, my my father's mother is from Arochukwu. I cannot deny that, neither can I wash it away. Now, having said that, and having owned up to that, my father is Ijo, my mother is British. So I have so much connections to my roots that nobody can take away from me. That's how God made me. Now, I have a choice to be all of these things, or one of these things, or two of these things. So all I'm saying is that as a person, and I've started making this conversation now for about 2 years now, as a person, I believe now that it is not possible for my people to survive, for their future to be guaranteed in a country called Nigeria. It's not possible. And why is it not possible? It's not possible because Nigeria as a country takes away what's in my land and shares it as it likes. Nigeria as a country does what it likes amongst the people that were forced into Nigeria. We were forced into Nigeria. Nigeria was not discussed. Our ancestors did not discuss Nigeria. It was forced on us. We've tried it for 100 and how many years? 1914, 108 years. It has not worked. So if it has not worked, is the answer that we stay and die in Nigeria? Or is the answer that we go our separate ways? And who are these we? We are the people that make up Nigeria. Whether you are 500,000 or you're 50 million, you make up Nigeria. And so you have to decide. We have to decide. Ndibo have to decide. Yoruba people have to decide what is in our best interest and in our future.
But the question I would still want to ask you is, in these decisions, because these are conversations that keeps happening, yet, people have been demanding referendum since time immemorial, since 19, God knows what, before even the 2014 conference report, even during the time of Nedeko. Yet, these requests are not being heeded to. The only time an attempt was made was during the RFI APC committee on restructuring. But after that, everything dies away. Everyone, because one thing I think I'm picking up also, and everyone should know this, is that most times out of emotions, when people, kind of say these things, they tend to attack fellow victims, because as long as Nigeria is concerned, be it north, east, west, south, everybody is a victim. Everybody is a victim state itself. So in this case, then I ask you again, if these demands, as you have put them, as the solution to stop something like this that happened in our war, Ondo State today, if the people are putting it forward, and the government and those representing them are not listening to them, how then and what can the people do?
The people must rise up, Maazi. You see, it's an individual thing. When I say the people must rise up, maybe because as a child, as a little girl, as far back as I can remember, I think I've been an activist because I was raised like that. I was raised by people that were activists in their own time. We didn't have the word activism. But you know, when something that hurts another person concerns you, you're an activist and you want to do something to change it. I don't know the people that were killed in our war today rather. I don't know them. I don't know a single person. And the people that have been killed in the past, the people that were massacred in the North in 1967, 68 that brought about the Civil War, I didn't know them. But I lost relatives in the Civil War. Maazi, what I'm saying is this. In my opinion, and I've not deviated from this thinking and voicing my opinion. I was in the 2014 National Conference. I saw what happened there. What is playing out in Nigeria today played out on the floor of the 2014 National Conference, because that was the conference that came close to calling for the dividing of Nigeria, because the recommendations that were made were going along those lines. But you see, the 1999 Constitution does not allow any of these novelties, as I call them, desires that I have, that I want for each and every person, including my own people, to live at peace by themselves. And if they want to kill themselves, then that's their choice. But to be in a country where somebody else can get up and kill you at free will and get away with it is what I do not accept. Maazi, I keep saying it over and over again, that if we are not able as a people to rise up, if Ndi Igbo are not able to rise up like it was done in the past and make a demand on themselves to make a decision, or Ijaw people to make a decision for themselves to stop people taking their oil. Just very quickly, look at during Obasanjo's time, when the Ijaws went into the creeks and stopped the flow of oil coming out of the creek. This country, the oil companies declared a force majeure because they had reduced the economy to that extent. And why? That's because the economy is in our belly. So what I'm therefore saying is that we have options. Why are we thinking that there is no option? Even if that option is just to say, I no want again. I no want, we were brought together. We didn't decide to come together. One white man called Lugard, for the interest of the British Empire economy, made this decision to bring what he called Nigerians together. And today, look at the result of it. Look at the result of it. Christians are not roaming all over the place, killing people that they disagree with. They're not roaming all over the place, killing people that they don't like their religion or they don't believe in their religion. Christians are not roaming, the Southeasterners are not roaming all over the place, taking over people's land. If they develop the North, which I think they shouldn't have, but then I'm not, it's not my money. If they develop the North and they're going to lose their development, they have to ask themselves, which is more important? Is it the development of billions in the North or their life? Which is more important? Because whether you leave those wealth that you've acquired in the North, willingly or unwillingly, the issue is that you've left them or you have to leave them. Now we have a situation where you have Northerners boasting and threatening the investment of Igbo people in the North and saying, whether if you want to go, you will leave these things and go. Well, if it is your wealth or your life, you have to make that decision. I don't have to make that decision. But quite honestly, Maazi, I think that trying to find solution to the Nigerian problem is what I find exacerbated. Not trying to find a solution to survive. That is not the problem I have. The problem I have is trying to solve the Nigerian problem. Some people that support Maazi Nnamdi Kanu that want to leave Biafra are castigated for wanting to leave Biafra. The Feniferes or the Yoruba people who have gone far than any other ethnic nationality in trying to gain their freedom. Some people say, oh, we don't trust Yoruba people. Well, my people don't even trust themselves. So, I mean, for my people to say they don't trust Yoruba people, it's laughable. Do you trust yourself before you're now pointing your finger to say you don't trust Yoruba people? It's not about Yoruba people. It's about your own survival. How does the Yoruba man's one desire to survive as a Yoruba man, how does that become your business if you're not willing to work? If you don't want to work with him, don't work with him. If you don't want to work with people who want to be themselves in Niger Delta, don't work with them. But don't stand in their way either, because it's their life and it's their future.
Okay, thank you very much. I think we had, while we were talking, we had Evangelist Emeka join us. May you make your intervention in 2 minutes. Emeka, if you're there, can you kindly unmute yourself? Unmute yourself, please.
Okay.
Emeka, unmute yourself, please.
We can't hear you.
Oh, my name is sorry, let me use a.
We can hear you now. Go ahead. Go ahead. We can hear you.
I say my name is Evangelist Emeka. I'm calling from Spain, and I've been following this television for a very long time, and I see that you are making commitment to see how the nation can move forward. Yeah, we've been talking about what is going on in the country, in Nigeria. And sometimes, like we say, the victims are blamed. These northerners, these herdsmen, or these Amajiris who go about killing people, most of the time we concentrate on condemning them or accusing them of committing these heinous crimes. But the fact and the truth remains that the people who are responsible for some of and most of this crime are the politicians we are praising today, who are in the north, whom we see, we know them, because they kept all these children and all these people as instruments of war that we use tomorrow to conquer the south, to carry out their heinous plans and crimes against the people of the south. I think the time has come, like our sister rightly said. In fact, she's been a wonderful woman. I've been following her on Facebook. I've been listening to her for a very long time. And I know the commitment, the comments she makes about our own people, the sufferings that we are going through. And it's very important for people like this to speak. Those that have the voice to speak for the voiceless is very, very important. And she said something about what happened at Owo today, which is very sad, very, very sad. And it is right time that we come together. We, the Southerners, come together to do something. Yes, the Yorubas, we the Igbos, we say we don't trust them, like she said. I was very happy to hear that coming from somebody from our own side. Now, the Yorubas have been silently and quietly building their nation without anybody knowing what is going on. The Yorubas are the only nation in Nigeria that are ready for independence, that are ready to separate from Nigeria. They have everything prepared. They are just waiting for the time for them to move. But we Igbos, for example, I am an Igbo man, we've been thinking and fighting and quarreling each other over the issue of Biafra or getting our independence and being separate. But it has not happened. We are not taking it serious. So I think it is right time we know where our mistakes are coming from. That is when we'll be able to rectify things, to move forward.
Thank you very much. Thank you. So before we round up quickly, Mami, you wanted to say something before now.
Yeah,
and I want us to, I want us in our conclusion, I want us to also address the failure of the southern governors to, the yearnings of the southern people to give like this concept of a united South. So, Manny, you have the floor.
Yeah, I was gonna say the ASAP clarification. I wasn't particularly expecting much. even though there was a lot of information in there that seemed to suggest they've all of a sudden grew backbone, but to me, it was just a paper. Because at the end of the day, they started to pretend they had a backbone because there was a personal interest there. And I knew once a situation where their personal interest was always gonna overweigh what the people's interest will be. So I didn't have that confidence in that particular Asaba declaration. So, and also on the point of the geological zone of Nigeria, that was put together by the military themselves. So now expecting that sixth geological zone to be how we actually formulate Nigeria and going forward, I don't think we should go by that either. I think we should actually go back to what, because at the end of the day, when you're trying to find a solution to a problem, you always go back to where you initially start from. Our initial constitution dates back to 1957?
1963.
1963. So to me, finding a solution, you go back to see where you were. And
No,
then
exactly.
we can then
I let me interject here. I like the idea of saying you go back to 1963. At some point in time, I was of the opinion that we go back to 1963. But thank God I also have my sister Ankyo Briggs here, who would also disagree that 1963 goes back to the old Eastern region. That now is no longer the old Eastern region. And there are people within the South that said, no, we would never get to 1963. If you speak to someone like Dr. Don Pedro Baseke, whom I have had conversations on this platform multiple times, he will tell you that anything that takes away the Midwest region of anything that brings the Midwest region into an alignment or into merging with any other region is off the table. So therein lies the challenge we have. Because again, if we are okay, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. When I say we go back, I'm not saying we go back straight default to the exact constitution, because it's not particularly going to be applicable. You can go back to that constitution and then amend to fit. Because if we, obviously, from the initial constitution, we had a Midwest. I'm part of Midwest because I'm from Edo, right? So if we then go back, we can then adjust the constitution and then review the constitution and put it to people where people can vote on what is applicable. But at least we're going to have a constitution that covers what people actually agreed on, rather than continuing to have this 99 constitution, which was never put together by the people in the first place. Because at least we have something to work with. 99 constitution is not of the people, and then wanting a solution from that we're never going to get anywhere.
Thank you very much. So, Dubem, you've been listening all this while. Now we are rounding up. We're looking at what would be the best way to, solve these things, that these type of killings that we do see, like what happened in Ondo, that that we structurally solve that problem. What's your take?
I really wish that I have a solution that I can offer here and they would just magically do it, because the sad thing is that we already have the people that we have occupying positions that should have been pushing for the extent, like in the days of Ojukwu and the rest of them, people that were a bit selfless. You could interpret their action whichever way you want, but they were looking out for their people. We no longer have that, and that will go back to their Asaba declaration, because that for me was the power will come to South as long as I'm the one that will have the power. Basically that's what that was about. So once it became clear that none of them would have the power or whatever, they all started grabbing whatever they can. Some started playing for the vice president, some started playing for all sort of things. It's just political dynasty that they're all trying to create. It was none of that had in mind we or their, the people from that region when they made those commitments. That commitment was like for me. So once people started coming out, I think some of them probably might see it as affront. Are you coming out too? Are you coming out too? I thought that this whole thing was just for me or something like that. So they started misbehaving, and they not probably knew, there are, as usual, there are our greed or whatever will kind of get us exactly to where we are today. So as much as the ones that spoke on behalf of them, the people that really matter just probably sat down and like, don't mind these people. And this is the reality. So the people that should be pushing for any of the things that we know is the solution, they are comfortable right where they are. And that now brings us, the only solution now left is only the one that Auntie Brace Uncle Bray brought up. Like, people have to rise up. I'm not even the kind of person that if there's a protest, but the truth of the matter is that people really have to rise up, because that's just the only solution. I can't see any other thing that will make these people do anything that remove this power from them, because they already know they're taking the model that the British use in running that country as a business. They all don't believe in Nigeria. These people are not Nigerians. They have foreign passports. If they don't, their children does. So these people are really not even treating that country like they know that it's going to one day will blow up. And you could see it when EndSARS started. They thought that was it, and they all started panicking. And they all had to do, take extra, the kind of measures that they took to make sure that they went it. But they know it will come again. It might not come in the form of EndSARS. It will come again, and they're doing everything to make sure that when it comes, if they see that they can't quench it, they all disappear. So what do we do? I don't know. I really wish I know. But I think at least going to restructuring, and that's where sometimes it looks like, because I have a lot of brothers that are into IPOBs and everything, that's where it looks like I disagree with them a little bit, because I do know that everything that they want, I want. But I also know that the reality of that happening today, tomorrow, is not very realistic. So I'm like, you could start from somewhere and work your way up somewhere, and that is why I would tell anybody that is out there, vote for a different politician this time around. Just maybe we can get a politician to commit to as much as.
Thank you very much. We are way out of time. We are now over 2 hours. 28 minutes there, and sadly, I do have another meeting to join now, so that will be the much we can take. But people, let me end with the following. One thing we have to know that the Nigerian system hasn't favored any of us, and none of us enjoys this system. The system, the Germans will say, is kaput, is broken. When we look at the death that has occurred in Owo, where fellow citizens were mowed down, their crime is that they attended a church on the day of Pentecost, and their lives cut short. Children, little children, their lives taken away from them. Then you ask yourself, which nation does this, that something like this happens within the hours that this has happened, and no one until this moment, is about 3 minutes to 10 o'clock right here, no one has been apprehended. And the sad part of it is that very unlikely that anyone will be apprehended. Then you ask yourself, for how long will this incapacitation, if we go by the words of the governor of that state, that these are men trained in Libya, but they are from Mali, and they've come into a sovereign nation, quote unquote, and committed this act. And there appears to be no headway and no declaration of riot act to them. It leaves people to believe and to think that there is an orchestrated plan, and rightly so. Why wouldn't people then believe that there is a plan that is orchestrated to do certain things this way when those that they have yielded their sovereignty by way of social contract has not lived up to expectation of protecting lives and properties that they swore in the so-called constitution to uphold? Isn't that a tragedy that in the year 2022, people still will be scared to go to church for the fear of probably someone walking in with automatic weapons and taking them down? On this platform, we use this as an opportunity to call on the Ondo State government not to rely on the federal security services in trying to find out and getting to the root of those who took the lives of his people. Here we say that our heart goes out for the families of those who lost their loved ones. And by closing, we say, may their souls rest in peace. And may those who committed the evil act, may they never know peace. And may peace not be their portion in the Nigerian parliament. On that note, I say it has been a very fantastic evening this evening for you to join me from all over the globe, and all the suggestions you've made, all the conversations and that we have this evening proposed, and solutions therefrom. It has been an enlightening evening, and I appreciate every one of us, no matter where we stand. Now, to those of my brothers and my sisters who are online, the online commenters, again, I will ask us and the besiegers to take it easy. Again, in life, there is not only one way to solve crisis. There are ways, but no matter what, most time when we say action, we need action, we'll go, we'll do this, and say, listen, come on, people. There has never been any war that you go into that doesn't end on a round table, square table, rectangular table, but it ends up in a table where issues that probably should have been talked about, discussed ab initio, will still come back and discuss. This has happened over history, time and time again. If that then be the case, question from me will be, why do we then have to war if there is an opportunity for us to eventually judge and get something that we all want? Because dice it, cut it, bleach it, one thing is very clear. The Nigerian system, the Nigerian structure is not working for any of us. All we do is to find a better way that can fit all of us. On that note, I will say good night, everyone, and thank you once more, Maazi. Bye.